I left my home 8 years ago and vanished without a single
goodbye.
People assumed I'd lost my mind, but the truth was simpler. My heart had finally shattered. My son, Ethan, had slapped me across the face in front of 300 guests at his wedding. The crowd froze. No one came to my defense. Not my relatives, not even him. That night, something inside me died quietly. 8 years later, I returned, not as the broken woman they remembered, but as a powerful investor hosting an elite gala for millionaires. I had reinvented myself completely. But when one of the event's security guards locked eyes with me and said, "You look familiar," I knew my past was about to crash into my present in the most painful way imaginable. My name is Audrey, and I'm 63 years old. This is the story of how a single night destroyed a lifetime of sacrifice, and how silence became my most unshakable revenge. But to understand why I disappeared, you need to know who I was before I became a ghost in my own life. It started 35 years ago, the day I held Ethan for the first time. His father left when Ethan was 2. Everyone pitied me, the poor, abandoned mother with no savings, no husband, and a baby in her arms. What nobody knew was that 6 months after his father left, my mother passed away and left me an inheritance, nearly $2 million in property and savings. I never touched a cent of it. While neighbors saw me scrubbing floors and pouring coffee in diners for tips, I lived with the secret knowledge that I could have lived like a queen. But I wanted my son to see effort. I wanted him to grow up believing in hard work, in humility, in respect for every person regardless of wealth. He grew up grateful, or so I thought. He studied, got scholarships, and graduated with honors in business. Every time he hugged me and said, "One day, I'll buy you a house, Mom," I smiled quietly, hiding the fact that I already owned 3. It wasn't about the money, it was about the love. And for a long time, I truly believed that love was enough. Until she arrived, Brittany. The woman whose smile was as polished as her diamonds, and whose presence would unravel everything I had spent 35 years building. Because sometimes, destruction doesn't come with thunder. It walks in wearing high heels and a perfect smile. And from the moment Brittany shook my hand, I felt the quiet warning of a storm I refused to see. Brittany came into Ethan's life like a glittering hurricane, beautiful, confident, and painfully aware of her social standing. Her hair looked like it had never known a bad day, and her dresses whispered of old money. The first time we met, I wore my best thrift store suit, pressed and spotless. She arrived in an ivory gown that probably cost more than my entire year's income. "Hello, Mrs. Thompson," she said, offering me only the tips of her fingers. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Ethan has told me so much about you." "Nice to meet you, Brittany," I replied, shaking her hand firmly. "Take good care of my son." She laughed, a soft, crystal-clear sound that somehow managed to sound cruel. "Don't worry. In my family, we always take care of what's ours." What's ours? That phrase stuck to me like a thorn. I should have seen the warning right then, but I was too busy being happy that my son had found love. In the months that followed, Ethan changed. He stopped calling as often. When I visited, he always seemed to be rushing out somewhere, fine dinners, charity events, country club gatherings where laughter sounded like champagne glasses clinking. When I finally saw him, He looked uneasy, as if my presence embarrassed him. He started wearing designer suits, learned to drink wine he couldn't pronounce, and began speaking about connections and appearances. My heart sank each time he avoided introducing me to his new friends. Then came the announcement Ethan and Brittany were getting married. He hugged me when he told me, but it wasn't the same. It was polite, almost formal. "You'll be in the front row, Mom," he said. "It's your day too." He lied. Brittany's mother, Catherine, took over the wedding planning like a general preparing for war. I wasn't invited to any meetings. When I asked about it, Ethan simply said, "Everything's under control, Mom. Just show up looking beautiful." A few weeks before the wedding, Catherine called me herself. Her tone was sweet but laced with poison. "Dear Audrey," she said, "you understand this is a very exclusive event, important guests, certain social standards. It might be best if you stay discreet. Perhaps a seat near the back? We wouldn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable." She didn't say it outright, but the message was clear. They were ashamed of me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the cream-colored dress I had bought for the ceremony and wondered if all my sacrifices had meant nothing. I thought humiliation had a limit. I was wrong. The wedding day hadn't even begun. The morning of the wedding, I woke up before dawn. I took a long shower, trying to wash away the dread that clung to my skin. I pinned my hair into a neat bun, dabbed on light makeup, and put on the cream-colored dress I had chosen weeks before. I wanted to look simple but dignified, a mother worthy of respect. Around my neck, I clasped my mother's pearl necklace. Everyone would think it was fake, but I knew it was worth $12,000 and a lifetime of memories. The ceremony was held in a private garden on the outskirts of Boston, a place straight out of a dream. Arches of white roses, golden chairs, and a string quartet playing softly in the background. It was perfect. Painfully perfect. When I arrived, a woman with a clipboard intercepted me. "You must be the groom's mother," she said politely. "Follow me, please." She led me away from the main area, past the elegant tables and the sparkling chandeliers, to a small corner near the kitchen, half hidden by decorative plants. There sat a lonely table with 2 folding chairs and no flowers. "You'll be comfortable here," she said without meeting my eyes. "Less noise, less pressure." I nodded silently and sat down. I had spent 35 years building a life of quiet pride, and now I was being hidden like a stain on a white tablecloth. When the ceremony began, I watched my son standing at the altar in his tuxedo, looking every bit the prince. And when Brittany walked down the aisle, glowing, radiant, dressed in white crystals, I waited for him to glance my way. To find me in the crowd. To remember me. He never did. Not once. After the vows, the celebration moved under a massive tent filled with laughter and the clinking of crystal glasses. My table remained untouched, invisible. While guests dined on filet and truffle potatoes, I was given a plate of chicken and rice, as if I were part of the staff. I sat quietly, eating my bitterness one forkful at a time. Then came the dancing. Brittany twirled across the floor in her father's arms. Ethan danced with Catherine next. I waited, hoping he would come to me. It was tradition, after all. But he didn't. Not even a glance. Something inside me broke. So I stood up and walked toward him. Toward the crowd. Toward my own undoing. I didn't know it then, but the next few minutes would turn me from a mother into a ghost. I reached Ethan as he stood laughing with his friends, a glass of champagne in hand. For a moment, I saw my little boy, the one who used to hug me after nightmares, but when he turned, the warmth was gone. "Ethan," I said softly, "will you dance with your mother?" The group fell silent. His smile vanished, replaced by a flicker of embarrassment. "Mom, not now," he muttered. "I'm with my friends." "It's tradition," I whispered. "Just one dance. That's all I ask." He looked around, searching for Brittany. Across the room, she watched us with sharp, watchful eyes. Catherine sat nearby, lips pressed into a knowing smile. I saw the moment he made his choice, the moment he chose them over me. "Please, Mom," he said through clenched teeth. "Don't make a scene. Go sit down." A wave of heat flushed through me. "A scene?" I repeated. "I raised you alone, and you're ashamed to dance with me?" He lowered his voice. "People are watching. Don't do this." That's when Catherine's voice cut through the music. "Excuse me," she announced, stepping onto the stage. "A very unfortunate incident has occurred. My emerald necklace has gone missing." The guests gasped. Murmurs spread like wildfire. And then her gaze landed on me. "Mrs. Thompson," she said sweetly, "you wouldn't mind if we checked your purse, would you?" Every eye turned toward me. Even Ethan's. My throat tightened. "You think I stole your necklace?" "Just a formality," Brittany chimed in. "You were near the restrooms earlier, weren't you?" My hands trembled as I handed over my small clutch. Catherine emptied it onto the table, lipstick, tissues, keys, an old photo of Ethan as a child. Nothing else. But the damage was already done. My humiliation was complete. "Mom," Ethan said finally, his voice breaking. "Just let them check. If you're innocent, it's fine." Those words burned more than any accusation. My own son doubted me. When I refused to be searched further, Catherine smirked. "If you've nothing to hide, we can call the police." I snapped. "You will not search me like a criminal." "Stop it, Mom," Ethan shouted suddenly. "You're ruining my wedding. You've always been the problem, embarrassing me, clinging to me, dragging me down with your pity." The room fell silent. And then, without warning, he slapped me. The sound echoed through the hall like a gunshot. I didn't cry. I didn't even move. I just looked at him, at the stranger I had raised, and realized it was over. That night, I walked away and never looked back. But disappearances aren't endings, they're beginnings disguised as silence. That night, I didn't go home. I wandered for hours through quiet streets until my feet ached and my heart went numb. By dawn, I had decided Audrey Thompson, the woman who lived for everyone else, was gone. For 35 years, I'd scrubbed floors and hidden wealth to teach my son humility. All it had taught him was shame. So I used the inheritance I'd hidden away, $2 million that no one knew existed, and disappeared. I changed cities, changed my name, and started over as Audrey Thompson Jones. I bought quality clothes, not flashy but strong. I cut my hair short, modern. For the first time, I wasn't a mother, a servant, or a shadow. I was a woman building a new life, one choice at a time. Through an old financial advisor, I invested in a luxury events company. At first, I was just a silent partner, but I learned fast. Within years, I was running the business myself. Soon, our company became one of the top organizers for high-profile galas, weddings, and charity events. The irony was cruel and delicious. I had gone from being hidden at the back of a wedding to deciding who got to sit in the front row. 8 years passed. I had power, respect, and peace, or at least something close to it. Then fate came knocking in the form of a client named Rosalind Davis. She wanted me to organize an exclusive charity gala. When I reviewed the guest list, one name froze me: Catherine Mills. The woman who had destroyed me. I didn't remove her name. I didn't seek revenge either. I simply decided that when she walked into my event, she would walk into my world, not hers. The night of the gala, I greeted every guest at the entrance, wearing an $8,000 gown and diamond earrings that glimmered under the chandeliers. When Catherine arrived in her emerald dress, she didn't recognize me. To her, I was just another polished professional. Hours later, when I was called on stage and introduced as the lead organizer and major donor, I saw her face pale as realization struck. After the applause, she approached me, trembling. "Your face, it's familiar. Have we met?" "Yes," I said calmly. 8 years ago, at your daughter's wedding. I was the woman you accused of theft, the mother your son struck in front of you." Her lips parted. "My God. Audrey, You found the necklace later, didn't you?" I said quietly. She nodded, eyes wet. "It was in my car. I didn't know how to find you." "No," I corrected. "You didn't care to." Her tears meant nothing. I didn't want vengeance. I wanted recognition, that I had always been more than the woman they tried to erase. When she begged forgiveness, I told her the truth. "I don't need to ruin you, Catherine. Living with the knowledge of what you are is punishment enough." As I turned to leave, she whispered, "Your son, he's been looking for you." And that was when I saw him, Ethan, waiting near the garden in a gray security uniform. His eyes were tired, his shoulders bent. "Mom," he whispered. "I'm sorry." I looked at him one last time. "No," I said softly. "You're not looking for me. You're looking for the woman who used to need you. She doesn't exist anymore." He reached out, but I stepped back. "Live your life, Ethan. Learn. But do it without me." I walked away beneath the moonlight, each step lighter than the last. Because sometimes, silence isn't weakness. Sometimes, it's the loudest revenge of all. And that night, I finally understood the most powerful comeback isn't being seen again. It's being unshakably, beautifully, at peace. And that's all for this one. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss part 2. A like on this video really helps the channel out, and let me know you're enjoying the content. Finally, drop a comment below and tell me which city you're watching from. I love seeing where everyone is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.